dengan pasukan kuning Protomalt dan pasukan merah Actigen E, membuat pikiran kita lebih berenergi. Milo baru dengan kandungan Protomalt dan Actigen E agar pikiran kita pun seaktif tubuh kita. Milo.
Ajeita, procura um companheiro, cruza para a boca da área, Dudu de bicicleta, gol!
El pibe de oro, Diego Armando Maradona, al bacio della moglie Claudia. Eccolo. Il saluto con Perlaino, il suo presidente, con Caniggia, che ha raggiunto. Diego, eccolo qua. Grazie per accettare. Grazie.
What makes a man a sports legend? What mechanism goes into making an athlete a myth, an authentic icon of an era, of a team, of a nation, or of the sport itself? Diego Armando Maradona's life and career are filled with those elements that allow his image to be surrounded by the legendary halo which is the privilege of very few sportsmen. His myth that had been built throughout his football career became a reality, and it was destined to grow even larger. Never before had genius and disorderliness come together with such passion in a sportsman. His technical capacity was absolutely huge, and from his left foot he always gave birth to new and inimitable ballistic conclusions. Maradona is a man who is among the world's most talked about athletes. His way of appearing in front of media and the continuous investigation of his private life has caused the creation of two authentic and opposing parties behind his image. Those who have loved him greatly and those who have never loved him on the human plane, although obviously appreciating his technical qualities. Diego Armando Maradona was born on the 3rd of October 1960 in Lanús, a poor suburb of Buenos Aires. The poverty of his childhood will mark him forever. Many of the attitudes that will constitute his personality, from his rebelliousness to his love for maple, trace back to those first years of his life. It's during this time that Diego, like the majority of boys his age, practices the shots that will eventually make him famous throughout the world, and already starts cherishing those dreams that will one day become reality. Maradona's debut in the Pateña team of Argentina's Junior takes place on the 23rd of October 1976, when he is only 15 years old. The boy's qualities are incredible. The way he plays enchants the Argentinian spectators, and the eyes of the whole football world start focusing on the young talent. Maradona remains in Argentina's Junior for 5 seasons, scoring 116 goals. No shot is impossible for him. The almost exclusive use of his left foot doesn't limit the fantasy and genius of the way he plays. Sunday after Sunday, his fame keeps growing, and people start flocking in droves to watch the phenomenon they call Pibe de Oro. In 1981, Maradona passes to Boca's juniors after having scored a goal in almost every match he played with Argentina's junior. The historic club, founded in 1905 in the port barrio of the Boca, is one of Argentina's best teams, together with their longtime rivals from River Plate, the famous and richer Patena team. Boca, a team of the impoverished port area, is the symbol of the common people, of the anti-conformists, of the restless, of the artists, and of the immigrants. Playing football was, for Maradona, a further step towards his attitude of a misfit, of one who stands, at least in his words, by the side of the weak. Maradona plays 40 games in the yellow and blue, scoring 28 goals and winning the championship in 1981. Having immediately become the idol and symbol of the supporters of the Commoner, the famous Boca Stadium, Maradona expands his popularity to the whole of Argentina. Even in Europe, he is recognized for what a jewel he is. A jewel which the Buenos Aires team is forced to sell due to financial problems. Maradona, increasingly desired by Barcelona, will leave Boca promising himself that he will wear their jersey again. Already leader of the youth team with which he wins the Junior World Cup in Japan in 1979, Maradona makes his debut in the adult national team at only 16 years of age. In spite of strong public pressure, the coach Menotti doesn't pick him for the World Cup in 1978. He suggests putting him on a national list of players called National Patrimony to avoid a possible premature escape to Europe. Wearing the jersey of the national team, Diego shoots ahead and manages to get into major football with great ease. By now, Maradona has become the most popular player in the world. The World Cup in Spain is close, and Europe is ready to welcome the Pibe de Oro. At 22 years of age, he is an idol for all Argentinians. For them, Diego has the profile of the great personality of their national history. After Gardel, Evita Peron, and Che Guevara, there is Maradona. Diego will be at his best in this new role he has been given, never hiding the modesty of his origins, wearing them everywhere with the pride of one who has never forgotten his country, his city, or the people he grew up with. After having captured the world's imagination with his technical abilities and having made millions of people dream with his style of play, Diego Maradona returns to Argentina. After a very short spell in 1993 with the Argentinian team's old boys and a few brief moments as a coach, Maradona returns to his beloved Boca Juniors. The welcome that the Commoner extends to him on the 7th of October 1995 is both extraordinary and moving. Maradona plays another 2 seasons for the Boca, playing 29 matches and scoring 7 goals. But by now, he is not the Diego we had seen in Argentina before his departure. The familiar problems with drugs, disqualifications, the terrible relationship with the media displaying an increasingly morbid curiosity about his private life, hit him again and again. spite of everything, Maradona's image hasn't been redefined. The Pibe de Oro always manages to get him spoken about and to give the impression of being ready for an umpteenth return. After every controversy, he seems to find the strength to reaffirm himself publicly, often transforming the accusations he is subjected to into suspected plots of which he is the victim.
La gente del Tribunal de Disciplina capito, che io stavo bene, che non avevo preso niente, e bueno, per quello mi hanno dato il perdono adesso, però io continuo la causa, perché io voglio sapere chi è, se il nemico sta vicino a me. Questa è la cosa più dolorosa.
Maradona's return to Argentina is a return to his origins, to the world that made him popular and which he left to build the legendary image that very few other football players have managed to achieve. In June of 1982, Maradona signs a contract with Barcelona. A few days later, the Spanish World Cup begins, and Argentina, the current world champions, will make their debut at the Camp Nou at Barcelona. The whole city excitedly awaits the new favorite's arrival. The pressure on Maradona keeps growing. Having arrived in Spain as the star of the World Cup, he can't disappoint. The Spanish World Cup, however, has bitter surprises in store for the Argentinian. His World Cup experience can be considered symbolic of the bad relationship that Diego will have with Spain. In the first match of the second round, Argentina meets Italy. Claudio Gentile, playing a match that will go down in history, has one of the most merciless markings that a contender has ever exercised against a forward. Maradona is repeatedly stopped. Gentile never leaves his side for the whole 90 minutes of the game, often resorting to fouls and challenges at the very limit of the rules. With one foot already outside the World Cup, Argentina has to win against Brazil in order to hold the qualification to the semi-finals. Maradona's team suffers another defeat at the hands of the Brazilian national team and has to leave the competition. Maradona is sent off in the closing minutes because of a bad foul on the Brazilian Batista. His enormous disappointment is summed up in the declaration given by Maradona himself. "No one has lost the World Cup more than me." For Barcelona, Maradona's purchase represents their attempt to establish a long-term dominance of Spanish football, an attack aimed towards the hegemony led by Real Madrid, a project as ambitious as it was envied. In spite of showing his talent on more than one occasion, the experience of the 2 seasons played for Barcelona isn't very positive for Maradona. In his first season with the Catalan team, Maradona is laid out for the first few months by viral hepatitis. During his time in Spain, Maradona stands out due to his disorderliness outside the football stadiums. And loved by his opponents, Diego is nicknamed Sudaca, a derogatory term used for South American Indians. Maradona feels lonely in Barcelona. He says that the poor coverage of Spanish TV leads him to receive a lot of underhand blows because his attackers go unseen. On the 23rd of September 1983, his experience in Spain reaches its lowest point. During a match against Atletico Bilbao, a challenge by the defender Goigoe Che leads to a fracture of his left foot and the rupture of a ligament. Fortunately, Dr. Oliver's treatment puts him back on his feet in record time. Diego's prehensile foot, as sensitive and precise as the hand of a basketball player, a very particular type of sniper's weapon, goes back to functioning perfectly. After his return, when he meets Atletico Bilbao again, Maradona will be involved in a clamorous fight at the end of a match. It's so bad that he even goes to King Juan Carlos to apologize for what happened. During the 92-93 seasons, after the disqualification received in Italy in 1991, Maradona returns to Spain to play for Seville. The second Spanish experience also holds no great joy for the player who will score only 4 goals during the 25 matches played. There is no city more suitable for Maradona's Italian experience than Naples, where on the 5th of July 1984, he was introduced to the supporters. The San Paolo Stadium was completely full. All the elements ingrained in the Panthenopian city, from its passion to its color, from its dramatic theatrical touch to the contradiction it constantly lives through, unite well with Maradona's character. The marriage between Diego and Napoli lasted 7 years. 7 years during which the Panthenopian team changes face and manages to find a man to lead it to results never obtained before. 2 championship titles, one in 1987 and one in 1990, an Italian Cup, a European Super Cup, and in 1989, a UEFA Cup, the first and only international laurels of the Panthenopian team. Playing for Napoli, Maradona matures even more as a football player. At grips with a difficult but stimulating championship, such as the Italian one, spoiled by a city of which he becomes the king, each and every Sunday Maradona performs inimitable moves.
La fortuna está con noi, está con Maradona è Maradona, è stato il più grande, io sono un calciatore.
Napoli is Maradona. The union becomes tighter and tighter until they are almost a single entity. You can't think of a city without its king. You can't think of Maradona wearing any other strip. During the 7 years he played for Napoli, Maradona scores 115 goals in official games. Having very quickly become the captain of the team, replacing the veteran Bruscolotti, Maradona immediately feels invested with the starring role leading Napoli to the first of 2 historic successes in the championship, a major gift he wants to present to the city that has adopted him since the first day of his arrival.
Questa è la festa più grande che ho vissuto nella mia vita. Io ho una piccola cosa da dire. Oh sole mio, s'affronta a te. Oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te. Oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te. Sta in fronte a te.
Todo bien, mira mi linda, todo bien, mi sabrosita, todo bien. Bien, aquí quiero que mires, todo bien, mira mi linda, todo bien, mi sabrosita, todo bien. Bien, aquí it's okay, todo bien, mira mi linda, todo bien, mi sabrosita, todo bien. Bien, aquí quiero que mires, todo bien, mira mi linda, todo bien, mi sabrosita, todo bien. Bien, aquí it's okay.
Non puoi essere stanco perché sennò hanno ragione quelli che parlano.
Diego, hai indovinato il pronostico?
Grazie a Dio.
Grande Napoli?
Sì, però continuiamo in silenzio stampa purtroppo.
Purtroppo. Sei d'accordo anche tu purtroppo?
No, non è che no, si poteva parlare. In questi momenti per tapparle la bocca a qualcuno.
Diego's relationship with the club is not always an ideal one. Indeed, during the 1989-90 season, after they go on to their second championship shield, Maradona becomes the star of a soap opera at the end of the summer. His holiday in Argentina lasts decidedly longer than necessary, and Maradona arrives in Italy after the new season has already kicked off. But upon returning to the football pitch, he manages to be forgiven for anything. (1990-91) is Diego's last season played in Italy. The rumors about his drug use are more and more insistent, and his relationship with the club steadily worsens until March of 1991 when, after failing a drug test, he is disqualified for 15 months. As a result, Maradona leaves Naples and Italy.
Continuerò purtroppo o con tanta fortuna a essere come sono io. Non mi cambierà nessuno, non temo, non ho paura.
One of the most significant matches played by Maradona at San Paolo is the Italian World Cup semi-final in 1990. On the eve of the match, Maradona, taking advantage of the media as only he knows how, asks the Naples crowd to support Argentina against Italy. This attitude makes a lot of enemies for him throughout the whole country.
O remate volta para o Brasil no campo de defesa pelo setor esquerdo. Para do Ricardo Gomes. Recolhe para a seleção do Brasil. Protege bem a bola no recuo. Meteu para Galvão. Galvão de perna direita à frente do círculo central. Meteu boa bola outra vez para Dunga. Dunga tem Careca. Miller se mandando pelo comando. Tentou o toque na frente para Alemão. Deu errado. Vem para cortar Trólio. Trólio para Maradona. Gol!
The final of the 1990 Italian World Cup, played in Rome, sees Germany beat the Argentinian team 1-0. Maradona is cut cold throughout the entire match and, during the national anthems, takes advantage of the camera one more time to express his dissent towards a crowd booing the Argentinian anthem. Maradona's relationship with Italy is definitely a tense one. After the World Cup event, Maradona manages to become the mouthpiece of protest that goes well beyond the simple aspect of sport. Off the pitch, he dedicates himself to an intense conflict with everything and everyone, refueled each week. A symbol for the citizens of Naples, he becomes an inconvenient personality who doesn't know the art of diplomacy and always speaks his mind.
Credo che oggi abbiamo capito che stiamo giocando contro di tutti. Contra tutti quanti.
Ah, appunto, ma per vincere bisogna giocare contro tutti, no?
Sì, no, non si gioca solo con l'Inter, si gioca contro tutti quanti, perché oggi abbiamo capito dentro del campo che non stavamo giocando solo contro la Fiorentina. Ok?
Vuol capire, capisci?
Sì. Ma il campionato del mondo l'abbiamo vinto fuori della mia terra, per quello io mi sono sentito a Napoli come in casa, per quello è più importante questo.
Maradona arrives in Mexico on its knees due to a recent earthquake in perfect condition for the 1986 World Cup. During his career, he still hasn't managed to obtain a trophy worth his value, and this seems like the right moment. Maradona says of himself in one of his typical statements, "I will be the star of the World Cup." After the match against South Korea, when Maradona shows many flashes of brilliance, supplying his teammates with a great number of balls, Italy once again, like 4 years before, sits squarely in Argentina's path. But This time, the result of the match is different. The final 1-1 result is decided by Diego himself with a beautiful tuck with his left foot, which leaves the goalkeeper, Giovanni Gallia, dead on his feet. After having beaten Uruguay, Argentina meets England in the quarter-finals. It is the 22nd of June 1986, and this date is to remain one of the most important in football history. Certainly it is the most important in Diego's career. It is a match in which his 2 goals scored in the second half are characterized by Maradona's most important traits: his cunning, his habit of going against the rules, and his immeasurable mastery of kicking the ball with his left foot. The goal which takes Argentina into the lead is scored with a quick sleight of hand which Maradona will attribute to God. The second goal is probably the best goal in the history of football. With only 1 foot, Maradona brings half of the English team to their knees to score the goal that will permit Argentina to reach the semi-finals.
Maradona turns like a little eel and comes away from trouble. Little squat man comes inside Butcher, leaves him for dead. Outside Fennick leaves him for dead and puts the ball away. And that is why Maradona is the greatest player in the world. He buried the English defense.
Extraordinario de la historia del Mundial. Diego Armando Maradona, el rey de la Copa del Mundo. Argentina semifinalista, se abraza, Bilardo se abraza con estos momentos. No es nada, no es nada. Claro que no es nada. Argentina va a salir campeón, Argentina va a salir campeón, dedicamos a toda la República Madre que nos reparió. Argentina va a salir campeón.
In the semi-final against Belgium, Maradona, who is now become the unquestioned leader of the team, scores 2 goals, achieving victory almost single-handedly. Maradona's only regret would be that he didn't score a goal in the final. The World Cup is won anyway. The year after their first victory, Argentina becomes the world champions again. Maradona is the best player of his day, with the whole football world at his feet. Argentina welcomes him like a king. After the disqualification suffered in Italy in March 1981, Maradona's football career goes through a difficult phase. The unfortunate Spanish experience with Sevilla and the return to Boca Juniors don't seem to get Maradona back to the prestigious level the football world had grown accustomed to. But his great desire to take part in the World Cup held in America makes Diego work hard to prepare himself. Maradona has great difficulty in finding the right form and weight to prepare him to once again shine as the star of the World Cup. The whole football world is obviously interested in Maradona's return, which could bring excitement and interest to a championship held in a country that has definitely not had much to do with football. Maradona proves to be in good form, and the first 2 matches played by Argentina lead the football officials to consider the South American national team as one of the leading contenders for the championship. After having scored a goal against Greece, Maradona plays a second excellent match against Nigeria. His is the pass that sets up Canicia's game-winning goal. This, though, will be Maradona's last performance during a World Cup. drug testing detects the use of ephedrine, a substance banned by FIFA.
Non sono il primo a dirlo, forse si ha detto tante volte. Maradona forse lo odi o lo ami, no?
Controversy quickly follows. Accusations fly back and forth, seemingly without end. Suggestions of a plot are insinuated. Someone says that Maradona has been used by FIFA to draw attention to the World Cup before being abandoned. The result is that Argentina, now without its captain, is eliminated and Maradona says goodbye forever to the most important event in football, the World Cup. Maradona's history is a beautiful script where everything seems to find an explanation, where every professional and personal event seems to find a reason. Cuba is where we can find the Argentinian genius today off the football field. His image, full of elements linked to his personality, but without a doubt also carefully crafted and maintained, has always been that of one man against the football institutions. A champion of the people and voice of the downtrodden. The tattoo of Che Guevara on his arm and his staying in Cuba, although partly for health reasons, seem to reinforce this. Maradona's games will be indelibly engraved in the minds of all football lovers. Off the pitch, Maradona has shown all the contradictions and difficulties of being a champion. His darkest moments have represented the inevitable sideshow, the most luminous parts of his life. His face shows signs of joy and sorrow. He always lived as a star. Maybe because of this, he's also become a legend in the most popular sport in the world.
Kini, Milo baru dengan pasukan kuning Profil dan pasukan merah Actigen E membuat pikiran kita lebih berenergi. Milo baru dengan kandungan protomalt dan Actigen E agar pikiran kita pun seaktif tubuh kita. Milo.